welcome everyone to another week of Be Focused TV. This is season 8, episode 49. We got Xavier White here, Raymond Lyons, Malik Miller, I'm Wilson Tarbay Jr. We're going to get straight to it. Octavia, the NFC East. What happened in y'all's wild division?
See me smiling? I'm excited. For the first time this year, every team lost except for mine. So I'm a little excited about that. But anyways, we'll get to everybody, but I will go ahead and start with the revenge game of the interdivision game this week of the Philadelphia Eagles versus the New York Giants. The Philadelphia Eagles defeated the Giants 38-20. Jalen Hurts was 15 of 20, 179 yards, 30. Why does this always do this? 4 touchdowns, 4 carries for 22 yards. Saquon Barkley had 14 carries, 150 yards rushing, 1 touchdown, and 4 receptions for 24 yards, 1 touchdown. Devontae Smith had 6 receptions for 84 yards. Jahan Dotson had 1 reception, 40 yards, and a touchdown. And Dallas Goedert had 3 receptions for 28 yards and 2 touchdowns. On the other side, Jackson Dart, 14 of 24, 193 yards, 1 touchdown, 6 carries for 17 yards and 1 touchdown. Tyrone Tracy Jr. had 10 carries for 39 yards. Cam Scatable had 3 carries for 12 yards and 1 reception for 18 yards and 1 touchdown. And Wan'Dale Robinson had 3 receptions for 48 yards. This was probably the first complete game for the Philadelphia Eagles this year. Of course, I guess we have to talk about when they played 2-3 weeks ago on Thursday night, how abysmal they were on both sides. So for the Giants to come into the link, and there's some weird stat where we just don't lose in Kelly Green, so I appreciate that too. But it was just one of their best games of the year, total from top to bottom, offense and defense. Again, Jalen Hurts with a stellar performance after coming off of a perfect passer rating last week of 158.3. He had a passer rating this week of 141.5. Again, completing 15 of 20 passes for 179. Despite the noise around the team that is AJ Arthur Juan Brown, they were able to continuously keep that noise out. If I wasn't a fan of this team, I would understand all of the turmoil that everybody is appearing it to be. I feel like AJ Brown does this every year. I think people continuously forget how close AJ Brown and Jalen Hurts are. I understand that, relationships are everything when you're in the midst of business when it comes to this in the game. But I'm sure they have candid conversations. I honestly just think AJ is trolling at this point. Everybody talked about the hamstring injury that kept him out of the game this week. I don't know why nobody remembered that he had a hamstring injury before the season started. So it's not like it just came out of nowhere. So yeah, I mean, it is what it is. There are, of course, all of the different things floating around of possibly trading AJ, knowing that we're about a week away from the trade deadline on November 4th. I doubt that happens. I will be thoroughly shocked, flabbergasted if it happens. So since they did not have him, Devontae Smith, I've always known, and I think a lot of people know, Devontae is a 1. He's a 1 wide receiver, but he just so happens to play in this offense. So he doesn't get as many opportunities as some of the other ones get throughout the league. But this was his opportunity to step up. And again, like I say, he had 6 receptions, 84 yards. He had a lot of key touches and a lot of key, catches. And clutch time. Dallas Goedert, he's just been a touchdown machine this year. He rarely catches that many balls throughout the game, but when he does catch them, they are for touchdowns. And he had another 2 touchdown game this week. And then, of course, the story that everybody also has been talking about outside of AJ Brown is Saquon Barkley. Saquon Barkley, of course, has not looked like, quote unquote, himself from last year. Of course, there are a lot of different factors when it comes into that, i.e., one, who expects somebody to run 2,000 yards again? Let's start there. But also the offensive line has been banged up and they haven't had as many gaps. Last year, a lot of his long runs, he went untouched at the line of scrimmage. This year, not so much. There has been a lot of injuries on the offensive line. Center Cam Jurgens did not play this week, so Brett Toth has been in. knowing that they lost Mekhi Becton this year as well. And honestly, the people who have been there the longest, of course, like Jordan Mailata and Lane Johnson, let's just be real, they haven't been playing as well as they have in the past. So there's still room for opportunity and room for improvement, but this was by far his best rushing game. He broke open a 65-yard rushing touchdown on the second play from scrimmage, which was solely needed, if not just for himself, for the fans, for the franchise, for the media to stop talking about it at this point. He also had 150 yards rushing on 14 carries, 65 of that on that. And he also had a receiving touchdown. Now, he did exit the game in the third quarter. They were up big at that point. He is apparently possibly tweaked a groin. But good thing for the Philadelphia Eagles, they are going into their bye week, and then they also don't play again until the following Monday night. So they have about 13, almost 2 weeks before they hit the field again. So I expect him to be fine. I expect AJ to be fine as well, which I also think is another reason why they held him out the game. And then their defense played really well as well. They sacked Giants rookie quarterback Jackson Dart 5 times with contributions from Jalen Carter, Jordan Davis, Zach Bond, Jalix Hunt. Dart was limited to 17 yards and struggled under pressure. The defense, they played better. Now, granted, I don't really think that the secondary was tested all that much this game. As we know, the secondary has been the Achilles heel of the defense outside of some of the defensive ends because we don't have a lot, i.e. the reason why Brandon Graham unretired. And Nolan Carter has also been out with an injury. So they have rookie Jahad Campbell playing on the edge. This was also Jahan Dotson's only catch of the game. I also thought he would need to get a little bit more in tune with this game, knowing that AJ Brown wasn't going to be playing. And then you also got to kind of talk about Tank Bigsby. When they picked him up, I think a lot of people didn't know what for or what was happening, knowing that they did also have AJ Dillon and they also did have Will Shipley. But Tank Bigsby also ran for over 100 yards in this game. So having 2 100-yard rushers in one game doesn't happen that much for Philadelphia. They have usually, a good running game, but that was the first of the season. So hopefully it quiets a little bit of the confusion going on. Of course, we know that it is against the New York Giants, although the Giants are coming off again the win they had against us. And then, of course, the almost win they had against the Broncos until they had the debacle in the fourth quarter. So there is that aspect. Like I said, the Eagles, they're on a bye this week, so they won't return again until November 10th on Monday night against the Packers, which is perfect that we got 2 weeks to prepare because the Packers look good. I know they've been a little up and down this year, if you want to call it that, but they look good. So, and I'm sure they're up for get back after the Philadelphia Eagles beat them twice last year. On the Giants side of that, again, their defense struggled to contain the Eagles the complete time. They allowed 276 rushing yards, 4 passing touchdowns from Jalen Hurts. They just couldn't contain them. Jackson Dart again was sacked 5 times, completely pressured throughout the entire game. And to add insult to injury, rookie running back Cam Scatterbu, who had scored a touchdown in this game, left the game with a serious, gruesome ankle injury. It's the second one we've seen this year. Looked eerie, similar to what happened to Fred Warner as well. He left the game in an air cast, had immediate surgery in the Philadelphia area, so he is out for the year. That's a big blow to them, just because, like I said, they've been a little bit on a little bit of a spark. Jackson Dart, came in with the spark. Cam Scatterbu. I mean, during the game, they were showing pictures of Cam Scatterbu at Knicks games, yelling in the background. So the New York media always loves their darlings, and him and Jackson Dart were definitely going in that direction. Unfortunate for him that his rookie season ends the way that it does. The Giants have now lost 13 straight games in Philadelphia and 8 of their last 10 against the Eagles. They're now 2-6, and it's starting to get late early for them. It doesn't get any easier. They're going to play this Sunday against the 49ers, who are probably a little bit ticked off about the loss that they just had this week as well. And despite their injuries, they've been playing well outside of this last game. So it should be very interesting for them as well. Next, we'll go to the Monday night game that just happened last night with the Washington Commanders versus the Kansas City Chiefs. The Kansas City Chiefs defeated the Commanders 28-7. Marcus Mariota with Jaden Daniels not playing in this game with, I forget what's wrong with him, his knee, his legs. It's always something wrong with him at this point. I don't remember specifically. But Marcus Mariota was 21 of 30, 213 yards, 1 touchdown, and 2 interceptions, 8 carries for 28 yards. Lil Bill, 9 carries, 25 yards. Terry McLaurin returned with 3 receptions, 54 yards, and 1 touchdown. On the other side, Patrick Mahomes was 25 of 34, 299 yards, 3 touchdowns, 2 interceptions, 4 carries for 30 yards. Isaiah Pacheco, 12 carries for 58 yards. Kareem Hunt, 9 carries, 40 yards, 1 touchdown, and 1 reception for 2 yards and a touchdown. Travis Kelce, 6 receptions, 99 yards, and 1 touchdown. And Rashee Rice, 9 receptions, 93 yards, and 1 touchdown. To start the game, it was very interesting. The Chiefs went down, and they looked like they were going to score off of their first drive, and they came up with an interception off the beginning. So starting off the game, the Commanders, Master Chiefs, they were 7-7 at one point after they traded interceptions. In that point, Debo's went off his face mask and his hand, and they also had a deflection for the Patrick Mahomes interception as well. Although his second interception was probably very much, I'm sure a lot of Commanders fans love to see it because they have been on Marshawn Lattimore's head. And to see him at least go stride for stride with Hollywood Brown and he actually had a very impressive interception in that moment, was good for that, but it was very short-lived for them, unfortunately. It wasn't too bad in the first half, like I said. They outgained Kansas City 194 to 156 yards. They converted more third downs than them. They controlled the time of possession. Again, like I said, they had those sparks as far as the defense that we really haven't seen that much this year. They had Terry McLaurin back. They had Debo back. That alleviated some pressure off of Zach Ertz. You thought they were kind of hanging in there, but as we've all seen over the last couple of weeks, the Kansas City Chiefs are coming back into form, and in the second half, they just ran away with it. They literally had no offensive response in the second half. They were outscored 21-0 in the second half. They didn't capitalize on any of their momentum that they had leaving the first half. It just wasn't good. Marcus Mariota, he did his best. I think for the Commanders that Marcus Mariota is a good backup for them because he mimics what Jayden Daniels can do. He can't do it exactly how he does it, obviously. So I think they really miss him in that opportunity. Luckily for them, they will also have a longer week because they'll play Sunday night, I believe. So not too much longer, but yeah, they couldn't get their run game down. Like I said, Bill only had 9 carries for 25 yards. It was just a total domination. I literally stopped watching probably in the third quarter, turned back and forth, started watching, I think it was the Timberwolves and I forgot who to play, the Nuggets that I started watching. So they're in a situation, again, they play Sunday night versus the Seahawks. So it's not going to be easy for them. As we know, the Seahawks have been playing very well this year as well. And I guess we'll see where we are with Jayden Daniels at that point, if he will be able to play or not. I think it's the hamstring, now that I think about it, because they likened it to the situation with Lamar Jackson, who was out for 3 to 4 weeks with a hamstring injury, although he is slated to return this Thursday. And last but not least, the Dallas Cowboys played against the Broncos. The Broncos continue their tour of whooping up on the NFC East. That's all of us so far. So the Broncos defeated the Cowboys 44-24. Dak Prescott was 19-31, 188 yards. No touchdowns, 2 interceptions, 6 carries for 31 yards. We saw a little bit of a Joe Milton, the third sighting. He was 3 of 4 for 58 yards and 1 touchdown. Javonte Williams had 13 carries, 41 yards, 2 touchdowns, and 1 reception for 8 yards. George Pickens, 7 receptions for 78 yards. And Jalen Tolbert, 2 receptions, 47 yards, and 1 touchdown. The other side, Bo Nix was 19-29, 247 yards, 4 touchdowns, 1 interception, 1 carry for -1 yards. J.K. Dobbins, 15 carries, 111 yards, 2 receptions for 10 yards. Rookie R.J. Harvey, 7 carries, 46 yards, 2 rushing touchdowns, and 1 reception for 5 yards for a receiving touchdown. The hat trick. Troy Franklin had 6 receptions, 89 yards, 2 touchdowns, and Pat Bryant, 2 receptions, 40 yards, and 1 touchdown. After seeing the defense improve last week, now I know we all stated it with a grain of salt, and know that they were playing against a depleted Commanders offense. It looked like what we saw earlier this year. Of course, they do have a lot of injuries. Trayvon Diggs is not playing. Donovan Wilson's not playing. Malik Hooker's not playing. And their backups are just struggling to fill in at this point. Allowing Denver to score touchdowns on 6 of 8 drives, an early interception. It was just as bad as it could get for them. Their offensive line was completely overwhelmed by the Denver's pass rush, as I'll be honest, most offensive lines have been this year. They have an outstanding defensive side of the ball. When they want to, they kind of turn it on and off sometimes. But when they're on, they are on. Dak Prescott, again, threw 2 interceptions. He finished with a passer rating of just 51.5. They couldn't get the running game really started. They only averaged 3.5 yards per carry. And tight end Jake Ferguson, who has been playing very, very well, was held without a catch in this game. This is what it looks like when the offense can't carry the defense. Dak Prescott has been doing an amazing job. Even in this loss, I don't personally feel like this takes him out of the MVP race that he has been in for a majority of the year. He can only do but so much. So, again, they scored 24 points even with that much of a disadvantage, but their defense is constantly giving up 40 pieces week after week after week after week. There's no way for them to be able to do that. Dallas was outgained 426 to 339 in total yards and converted only 36 of third downs versus Denver 63%. The Broncos averaged 7.5 yards per play, while Dallas managed just 5.2. And the Cowboys also allowed 5 explosive runs of 10 plus yards compared to just one of their own. So they really got to get back in the lab and figure it out. Of course, again, getting close to the trade deadline, there are talks of, is there one person out there? Are they one player away? I don't think anybody believes they're one player away on the defensive side. I'll be interested to see if they do anything in the trade deadline. If you listen to Jerry Jones talk, which I don't like to do, but if you do listen to him, who knows? A lot of people are floating around Max Crosby because we know of the debacle out in Las Vegas as well. They have a good chance this week, although the Cardinals are playing as hard as anybody, and I believe they're coming off of a bye as well. So they'll play the Cardinals Monday night. Again, another nationally televised game. Y'all know I hate them. So good luck to the Cowboys and the Commanders, who both have nationally televised games this week coming up. But again, we're NFC East, just as crazy as ever going to be. One moment you think it's going to be a closer race, and then the next week one team wins and all the other teams lose. But you never really know what's going to happen at this point.
NFL to the NBA, Ray, what have the Wizards been up to?
Everything. They're sitting at 1-2 right now. They're halfway through a game against Philly tonight. They're up 72-68 at the half. They're just a team trying to find themselves at this point, which is to be expected, given they have an extremely young team. They've yet to put together 4 quarters of basketball. They had 1 good quarter against Milwaukee, about 3.5 good quarters against Dallas, and they just took the second half off against Charlotte. Charlotte just ran away with that one in the second half. But tonight, I mean, they're winning, but giving up 68 points and a half with when you're a team that's prone to allowing opposing teams to just go off for a quarter or so, it doesn't bode well for you. They have to get more consistent on that end. But me, Wilson, and Cardell talk about the magic number. They hit the magic number tonight with a 40-point first quarter, but they turned around and gave up 36 to the Sixers in the second. So it's good that they're scoring and they're flowing on that end, but at some point you got to get stops, and that's going to decide who wins this game. obviously with the Wizards scoring 72.5, Philly's not playing much defense either. So whoever strings together stops consistently first, is going to win this game. And we've been talking about how the Wizards are a team that has had problems punching back. So, if Philly can seize control at some point, then the Wizards might be in trouble. On the other hand, if the Wizards can find a way to kind of wrap their arms around this one, we've seen them be able to extend leads and go on runs themselves. So, we just got to see how it goes. Keyshawn George, he's had a pretty good start to the season, but the last two games, teams have been kind of shutting his water off, so to speak. Cardell always talks about what happens when the scouting report catches up. His first two games, he came out on a heater with 34 in the second game against Dallas. And, teams have picked up on that, and they've gone to the anybody but you strategy. And, it's got some legs. It seemingly worked. So, we'll see. But we'll talk to you guys later on Wizards Outlook. Hopefully they can finish this one off and pull it out. But, yeah, man, if they don't get together on defense, then, every game is going to be a toss-up. But if they can get some consistency and get stops, then they're in a pretty good spot. Their defense kind of fused their offense. So when they're able to get stops, get out and run, and make things a little bit easier for themselves, even in those opportunities when they're in the half court, they execute a little better, and and they're able to hold teams off. So yeah, man, we'll see. They push the lead up to 10 at this point. So yeah, man, maybe they went in the locker room at halftime and figure something out.
Now, like you said, we'll definitely see. As you mentioned, we'll have Wizards Outlook later. The clip underneath us is from earlier than pregame. So just want to share with you guys that didn't catch pregame, just some keys of the game that Cardell and I had to discuss. Is, as Ray said, they got an opportunity tonight if they don't do what they did against Charlotte to give Philadelphia their first loss of the season. But Cardell, your thoughts on tonight's game and the keys to it?
What should they do to get all the
Wizards gonna play defense. The Sixers are first in offensive rating in the league. 126.3. They average 126 points per game. That's fifth in the NBA. If you don't play defense tonight, it's probably gonna be worse than the other night. Because now it ain't just Tyrese Maxey. You got to deal with DJ Edgecombe too. You remember I was talking to you about him at the combine. He's the only one locked in on every drill. And that caught me off the take because everybody else was joking, but you can tell he I'm going to make sure I'm going to be a top pick. I'm going to leave no doubt. I love players like that. You ain't got to talk to them. You ain't got to motivate them. When it's time to go, they ready to go, man. And the Wizards better be ready to go. I don't think people understand how much damage that backcourt is doing right now in the league. Tyrese Maxey is averaging 37 points, 7.7 assists, 4 rebounds a game on 46, 51, 86 splits. Let me repeat that. 46% from the field, 51% from deep, 86% from the free throw line. Edgecombe, young fella, rookie, 25 points, 6 assists, 5.7 rebounds, 1.7 steals on 50, 40, 75 splits as a rookie. I can talk about Kelly Oubre, I can talk about Quentin Grimes, I can talk about Bona. If Embiid play, I can talk about even if Embiid play, it's gonna be tough. But it starts with this backcourt. The way they playing right now, I'm talking about just right now. They're the best. They're the best backcourt in the league as far as how they've been playing to start the season. It's not even close. If they give it to you on both ends, especially Edgecombe. So it starts there, man. It's no secret. Every game the Wizards have lost, point guard play and the guard play, they've had their way. So, and I'm pretty sure, even though the Sixers played last night, they was looking at the Sunday games, seeing where Ball and those guys did. I'm pretty sure, Edgecombe and Maxey are coming in the night's game it should be a fun night. So it's up to the Wizards to make that not happen and then make it a miserable night for them.
All right, folks, and as Ray said, we'll check out, we'll have Wizards Outlook later this evening. Look forward to talking with you all then. All right, going to move to Take It or Leave It. Malik, we're going to start with you a couple times here. So give you a little sneak peek. So it has something to do with the Ravens. But the Ravens are 2-5 to start the year. Lamar Jackson's now missed 3 games with a hamstring injury. He had this to say when addressing the media today. He emphatically nodded his head when he was asked if it's going to feel like playoff time for a Ravens team that is off to a 2-5 start. Well, Coach touched on that with us in the team meeting. Each and every game is going to be like a win or go home game. It's do or die right now, each and every week. That's what Lamar had to say when answering the question. Even though he was sidelined for 3 games with right hamstring injury, Jackson still played a leadership role after the 37-20 loss in Kansas City on the 28th of September. Jackson told the head equipment manager to remove all the recreational distractions from the locker room, which included getting rid of the ping pong table, video game consoles, cornhole boards, a basketball hoop, and a pinball machine. Only reason I bring that back up because I believe when the story initially broke, people were assumed that it was the coaching staff that one of those things moved. The update now, following up, is it was their multiple-time MVP quarterback that was like, for lack of a better word, y'all need to lock in. So Malik, your thoughts on Lamar Jackson? Take it or leave it. That not only do they need him to come back to save the season, is there a season still to save after this 2-5 start?
Absolutely. The only thing they have to do is win their division. It probably looks like a big puzzle piece, probably a big thing right now. But the only thing the Ravens have to do is win their division. The only team in the way of them being successful this year right now is the Pittsburgh Steelers, who's sitting number 1 at the top of their division. They can split the series. They can win outright, and they can beat the Cleveland Browns and the Cincinnati Bengals a few times, and they'll be able to get in. And once they can get in, they can do anything they want in the playoffs. So for a healthy Lamar Jackson, Derrick Henry, and if they're getting into the playoffs, that means their momentum, their motivation, and their mental is in a way better spot. So if they can get the first seed in their division, they'll get in, and they'll be a very bad team. They'll be something like the Aces, because they're gonna have to heat up and warm up right before the playoffs. And it's now. They're 2-5, like you said. There's no time for a lot of losses, but they know which losses matter, and they know which losses they can't take. And you can lose to every team in the NFL, but you can't lose to the teams in the division. And as long as you win your division, you get in. So this season is not all for failure. And Lamar Jackson is trying to remind these guys that when we all come back, we're going to have to make the strongest push. So all the people that are helping now that are healthy, we need you to push. All the people that aren't healthy, when we come back, we're on that, because this is the best team he's ever had. And if they don't win this year, just like people said at the beginning of the season, some people are going to be getting fired. It's going to be, is it him? Is it the head coach? Is it Harbaugh? It's going to be who can't get it done and why? Because there's so many answers to a Super Bowl in that room, and they're just not getting it done. So with them coming back and everyone not being out for season-ending injuries, it's definitely a push that's going to be made.
All right, Octavian, what say you?
Yeah, I'm going to take it, and I wouldn't have taken it before this past week of NFL games. I don't believe in the Steelers. The Bengals, you lost to the Jets. I can't. At one point, we thought Flacco was going to be able to step in and possibly, at least give them competent quarterback play. There was talks of possibly, just hold on until December. Joe Burrow might be able to come back. I mean, they're up 14 points in the fourth quarter and you lose to the Jets. Like, I can't really take that seriously. And we know the debacle of the Cleveland Browns. So it's like Malik said, all they have to do is win their division. If they have a healthy Lamar Jackson coming back and some of their defensive players step up and also come back from injury, they got Roquan Smith back this past week. So I don't know the status of Kyle Hamilton. I got to look at it. But if they can get their defense to play like middle of the pack, defense, and if Lamar is the MVP that we know he has been before, if he's able to replicate that again, you think about him being off 3 to 4 weeks, you would assume he's healthy. They said he practiced fully last week. He could have played this week, but they thought with him playing this week and then playing on a short week, it'd be better to hold him out. And honestly, for the life of me, I don't know why Cooper Rush was ahead of Tyler Huntley at this point, because obviously we've seen what he's done in the past in relief of Lamar Jackson. Because, again, kind of similar to the Commander situation, he's similar in play to Lamar Jackson. Of course, he's not Lamar Jackson, but it kind of keeps the offense in a normal rhythm. Derrick Henry, in my opinion, got to get it going a little bit more. I mean, he did have a 2-touchdown game, rushing touchdowns in this past game. But I think that they can get it. Like you said, all you got to do is win your division. The only thing that kind of makes me laugh is like now, there have been talks in the past like, oh, we should take division winners out of it and all this other stuff. So it's like now if the Ravens just happen to win their division at, I don't know, 8-9, I'm just throwing out numbers. I don't even know how many more games I got left at this point. Is that conversation going to come back up again? But yeah, like you said, you win a division and you get into the dance. They can always rumble with anybody, but it's not going to be easy. Cincinnati has been up and down, but I just really that loss to the Jets just really pissed me off. So I don't know what they're doing. They're wasting Jamar and T and Trey, and Joe Burrow's hurt every other year. I saw a Halloween picture that said, "Hey, my son is going as Joe Burrow," and he was on crutches. I was like, so this is just normal at this point. So I'll take it. They have an opportunity, but they literally have no margin for error. Like you said, like you gotta win all of your division games, and they still have a lot of them in front of them. So it's up in the air for them.
Right.
Yeah, I'll take it. Like Octavia and Malik said, that division is in disarray. So there's still some hope there, but like Octavia just said, they got to start getting into gear now. They're already 2-5. They're approaching the halfway point of the season. You don't have many more games to lose. So if they're going to make it, they got to start turning in that direction immediately. But yeah, there's with the way that division is unfolding, there's still a chance. But yeah, they just can't they can't put off the ascension for too much longer. So yeah, if Lamar comes back, he's healthy, and they start finding their way, then they can go ahead and steamroll this thing and wrap it up and squeeze their way into the playoffs.
All right, from one at least a 2-5 team to a 1-win team, the Saints they decided that they are making a change under center. After losing to Tampa Bay this past week, they are deciding to bench Spencer Rattler, who is now 1-13 as a starter, dating back to some spot starts last season when Derek Carr was a member of the Saints and he was off injured last season. So enter rookie Tyler Show. Take it or leave it that this change does anything for the 1-7 Saints. Malik.
I gotta leave it. He's not the answer. They went from a bad bag to bad in just another language. Maybe even a worse translation, because Tyler Shaw is not the answer. Spencer Rattler makes it exciting to watch. Spencer Rattler might not be the problem somewhere else, but Tyler Shaw, biased opinion, non-biased, Tyler Shaw is in the NFL in the position he's in because of the other people around him. If people can read what I'm saying. But yeah, it's not going to be. They're doing anything because, again, someone always has to answer the questions about why football games can't be won. So that's what it is. But at the end of this, Tyler Shaw is not the answer. Spencer Rattler wasn't the answer to the problem. But yeah, you got to leave him. You got to try somebody, I guess. Somebody's got to get in there and do something.
Octavia.
Yeah, I'm gonna leave that as well. The only slight way I would take it is because to me it just seems like they're trying to lose more games and get better draft position at this point. I mean, I don't know how much more they need to lose to do that, but yeah, Tyler Shaw, Spencer Rattler, shit, Taysom Hill. It don't matter who it is. It ain't there this year. And what Kellen Moore needs to just go ahead and do is just chalk it up, because obviously that this wasn't the plan coming into the year. He thought he was going to have Derek Carr until he retired due to the continued injuries that he had. He needs to just go ahead and focus on who's playing in college on Saturdays. Focus on who you want to draft, who you want to be your guy going into your second year as a head coach, and go there. There's also, again, like I said earlier, talking about the trade deadline coming up. There are a lot of people who are inquiring about a lot of the wide receivers that they have down there, whether it's Chris Olave, whether it's Rashid Shaheed, because there are some wide receiver needy teams out there that are trying to make a push. They might as well just go ahead and sell the farm. Sell the farm, start over, give Kellen an opportunity to be the guy and take it from ground zero and look at his body of work from that, as opposed to trying to piece together things. Because it's not a quarterback in that locker room. It's not a quarterback in that franchise that's going to do anything for them. I don't know what the big deal is of them losing again to the Bucks that made the decision is, oh, this is it. We lost to the Bucks again. Let's put Tyler Shaw in, and outside the fact of let's just see what the kid got. At this point, it can't get no worse. And hopefully I think for them, they're thinking hopefully it does get worse so we get better draft position again. So I'm leaving it in that aspect. I wish Kellen Moore the best to go ahead and start finding his new quarterback for next year.
Right.
Yeah, that's just a mess. I guess I gotta leave it because, like they said, this is not the solution. But and like you guys said, I guess you got to do something. But I mean, yeah, that's just a tough spot to be in. So, like Octavia said, I wish him the best. Maybe homeboy gets in there and shocks us all. But yeah, they're gonna be back to the fans having the paper bags on their heads because it's terrible down there.
Luckily, the fans have a lot of practice. So over during their tenure as Saints fans, the last three coaches since going back to 1986, there's only been three coaches, technically two coaches that have been over 500. You had Jim Mora between 86 and 96. He was 93 and 74. You had Sean Payton between 2006 and 2011. He was 67 and 37. And then when he came back from 2013 to 2021, 94 and 60. There's a bunch of other names in there that I'm choosing not to name because, again, the fans are allowed to have paper bags on their heads. We can leave the coaches who weren't winning off the list too. But yeah, I'm with y'all. This is what bad management looks like. I don't know what y'all got going on. I'm eager to see if they end up, becoming a pipeline for some of the teams that are trying to get into the playoffs in this next week, since they have some expiring contracts and they seem like they just don't do good business. All right, the last take it or leave it. We got Lauri Markkanen. He ended a 27-year, 203-day drought between 50-point games for a Utah Jazz player. This doesn't include the playoffs, which is why if someone's like, hey, man, Donovan Mitchell had a couple 50-point games in the bubble, this is why it doesn't count. We're not talking about playoffs, just regular season for the Jazz. It had been 27 years. Take it or leave it, the Markkanen the young Jazz can avoid this happening again. Again, it was 27 years. Right.
I mean, scoring 50 in the league now is like scoring 25 when we was coming up. Like, I seriously doubt they're going to go on that type of streak again. But I mean, every offensive accomplishment I take with a grain of salt in the NBA these days, and that's not to be old man yelling at clouds, but it's kind of old man yelling at clouds, and I'll be that, and I'm fine with it. But like how many 50-point games has it been this season so far? And we're like a week in.
It's
A
been
lot.
several, but they didn't come from the Jazz players though. It's like the Jazz were like the one team during the juicing era of baseball that couldn't hit home runs.
Never comes from the Jazz players.
Well, I mean, they probably they're bearing the sins of their forefathers. You got an anti-vax conspiracy theorist, and we all know what type of person Karl Malone is
We
as
do.
the cornerstones of your franchise. So they don't deserve nice things. But yeah, I'm not surprised. Whenever somebody drops 50, I'm never surprised. So congratulations.
Octavia on the drought.
Yeah, I agree with Ray. I don't think it's gonna happen. It's gonna go 27 years again. I mean, Lori, like you said. Well, first off, like you said, people are scoring $50. $50, 50 points. Like they wake up in the morning at this point. Like you said, we've had so many of them already. I mean, for goodness sake, Austin Reeves scored 50 points. Now, I'm saying that as like, I know he's kind of good or whatever. I mean, but he's scoring 50. I think Aaron Gordon scored 50. We know what the heck Victor Wembanyama is doing. And then also, like, I know he's a rookie, and I'll be completely honest, I have not watched a Utah Jazz game yet. But we know the type of scorer Ace Bailey was in college, so I foresee somewhere down the line, it should happen, but you never know. Like you said, it is Utah. I feel like that's, where dreams go to die sometimes in the NBA. So you never know. But then I also, like Ray said, I take it with a grain of salt because let's face it, nobody really plays defense in the NBA. So not nobody. A lot of people don't. There are people who do. Let me take that back. But a lot of people don't play defense in the NBA. So there's going to be 50 points all around the year. Like I'm sure we're going to get a couple 60s this year. So I'm congratulations to them because 27 years is a long time with an 82 game season. And then, like you say, even those couple of times, I know you're saying the stat is only for the season, for the regular season. But I mean, 82 games times, I'm not good at math, but 82 times 27 just seems like a lot.
It is in fact a lot. Malik, your thoughts on this taking 27 years to happen?
Absolutely. I can't beat up a dead horse. Is it going to take this long again? If I had to bet on it, I don't think so. The defense, like everybody else has said, has definitely fallen. There's a gap between the people that want to play defense and the will to stop people from scoring 50 points versus the will to stop people from scoring 50 points 10 years ago, 15 years ago, 20 years, definitely. So just the pride thing on the defensive end, like everybody said, is just a little different now. As long as people can respond with points, the amount of points you really give up doesn't really matter, as much anymore because you can score 50. It used to be if you score 50, you're going to win the game. But now you can score 50 and still lose by more than 3 points. So, it's if they score, we score as long as we win. I'm about to say, yeah. So the 50 point, congratulations to him because he's a killer. He's a killer. He definitely is. It's not too many pure put the ball in the basket type of guys that get to go to Utah. They get a lot of guys that whether they might have been guys before they got there, they might have been guys after they left. But at the time of being in Utah, there's not a lot of guys that take the ball and put it in the rim. So he's one of those guys. Donovan Mitchell's one of those guys. So when you really take that number, those guys that really put the ball in the basket, that 27 years, 20 years is like, I understand. Going on 30 is pretty crazy. Is it going to happen again? I don't think so. Just based off of the points per games per team, the amount of shots taken per player, just all those things combined, definitely not 27 years, but definitely a little less than pathetic, 30 years. But, there's crazy stats for all kinds of teams and players, all kinds of teams around different sports. So, yeah.
Crazy stats as they may be. 27 years with like 15 of it spanning during the time where people can't spell defense is crazy. But shout out to Utah. We are going to move on to rapid fire, though, because we got 3 of those questions before we get out of here. All right. Octavia, since I guess you knew what we were talking about. You mentioned some of the in your answer just now when talking about the Jazz, but it's okay.
I do this every week. I think I got telekinesis or something. I swear I don't know the questions, guys.
You brought up Aaron Gordon, so I guess we have to talk about him. Lots of players get off to a really hot start this season. This is the name that seems kind of out of place. You know, if you're one of the people that just goes on ESPN or NBA.com and you hit stats in the league and points per game, and you're like, yeah, Aaron Gordon. You're going to stop and, you know, do a double or triple take. That's it. The Nuggets forward is averaging 33 points and 5 rebounds, which is cool. Like, these are the numbers that are crazy. 68 from the floor and 64 from 3. No, it's through only 2 games, but again, 68 from the floor and 64 from 3 from a person who's not exactly known. He's known for a lot of things. Shooting 65% from 3 has never been one of those things. Ray, we'll start with you.
The ball's going in the basket for the time being. I mean, of course, there's going to be some regression to the mean at some point, but just enjoy the ride while it lasts. But no, he's lights out to start the season, and I mean, even of course, there's going to be some drop off, but you know, unless he falls off a cliff and can just stay somewhere, like, I mean, 65 is crazy, but
yeah,
you know how much. And it's not like he's playing outside of himself. It's not like he's just doing wild stuff. He's playing his game, but the shots are just going in at a crazy rate. So, I mean, he's not going to sustain 65, but this could be a breakout year for him, so to speak. And you know, if he can keep that up along with what Jokic does, then Denver's is going to be in a pretty good spot. But yeah, I mean, just it's like when you play NBA Jam and you get on fire, just keep putting them up until they're not going in like that no more. And then you can kind of tether yourself, but you know, for the time being, feed the hot man.
I'd say your thoughts on Aaron Gordon shooting damn near 70% from the floor, knowing that it's a chunk of threes in this equation.
Yeah, definitely not on my bingo card for the season to start. Because like we just talked about, first of all, a 50 burger and an L is tough as hell. Like, you scored 50 and y'all still lost. To the fact that he's doing that, and also alongside the likes of Nikola Jokic and Jamal Murray, who's also playing well, knowing that, you know, they have kind of built up their bench in the offseason as well. And also, like you said, Wilson, it's not like he's jacking. It's not like he's trying really, really hard to do it. It's in the flow of the offense, and you can tell he's been working on it. It's like he came into this season with a purpose. 65 is crazy. I think we all kind of feel like there's no way that he can sustain that. But I'm rooting for him. You know, I'm rooting for him to keep it up there. I don't know if he can do it or not, you know, but that'll be a story for a long time if he's able to do something anywhere near that. Because like you guys also stated, he does a lot of good things as a player. This wasn't one of the things that we thought he would be, quote unquote, top tier in. I mean, I know a lot of people have their own favorites and stuff. One of my favorite slam dunk contests is him and Zach LaVine. That's what he's known for, dunking the ball. He's known for playing hard-nosed defense. He's known, you know, but I do think that ever since he came to Denver, he's had to evolve his game. When he first got there, you know, there was a lot of injuries with Jokic and Murray, so he really had to step into a role as a scorer. And as Jamal Murray and Nikola Jokic got back, he kind of stepped back, but this still shows that he can still do it. Especially for the fact that they lost Michael Porter Jr., who was their three score threat outside, of course, Jamal Murray and Nikola Jokic, because of course they can shoot threes. For them to replace him with Cam Johnson, and Cam Johnson just sitting over there like, I guess I'm not needed right now. Let me just relax because Aaron Gordon got this handled. So definitely wasn't on my bingo card. I'm interested to see how long he can keep it up. how well he can play. Hopefully he has a healthy season too. But he doing it right now. So I definitely wasn't on my bingo card.
Malik, your thoughts on Aaron Gordon's insane start to the season?
When it comes to Aaron Gordon, I think Aaron Gordon is definitely showing he's an improved player. Now, I don't want to be the bearer of bad news compared to everybody else, but he's definitely, is he the guy that the statistics make him look like right now? No, but he's definitely a better player. So the first game of the season against the Warriors, which was his 50-point game, he was 10 for 11 from three. Absolutely couldn't miss a shot from the 3-point line that day. That's when he had 50. The next game, like Ray talked about his depletion in numbers. That happened. That started in the second and the third game. The second game he had 17. Third game he had 9. From those, the game 2 and game 3 combined from 3, he was 1 for 8. Now, I definitely think the most points he averaged has averaged in Denver right now is 16. So definitely with Michael Porter leaving the team, him being one of the veterans on the team, he's definitely improved his game on the offensive side of the basketball. So averaging at most 16, I definitely see him being a 19 to a 22 point per game type of guy. I would love to see a bigger jump at Jamal Murray, but I am not sold on the offensive athletic bag. I think he had a great game 1 to start the season against the Warriors. I will not take that away from him. But I don't think that like everybody else said, I don't think that I'm sold there yet. 3 games, everyone gets high one day. Like you said, now Aaron Gordon is in the special type of importance as guys like Austin Reeves to their team. So they're definitely on a higher level than guys like Kyle Kuzma scoring 50 points, because he's not going to score 50 points. Kyle Kuzma comes out and scores 50 points, then everyone's in trouble. But yeah, I definitely think Aaron Gordon is going to have an improvement to his offense this year. Is he going to be like a 30-point guy or like the special guy? I don't think so. I think he's still going to be a role type of guy, but I was impressed with the 50 points to open up the season. Like I said, game 2 and game 3, his numbers went not back to normal, but they went back to just normal for the humans in the NBA. Hopefully he can bounce back from that game with his next game being tomorrow. But yeah.
Yeah, I'm gonna agree with all you guys. It's a little bit of an outer body experience. And we'll see how it holds up. But again, I don't care what's going on. He shouldn't be shooting 60-something from 3. That had me like, what the hell is happening out there? All right, on to another person. Also, start a little bit on the opposite end of the spectrum here. The young Spurs, off to a 4-0 start this season. The alien that is Victor Wembanyama is averaging 33 points, 13 rebounds, 2 assists, 6 blocks, and 1.7 steals. A contest through those first 4 games. His season was cut short last year because of a deep vein thrombosis in his right shoulder. Everybody got the memes and the jokes from this offseason where, these, what's it called? I think it was a tweet where he trained with the monks, Olajuwon, Jamal Crawford, somebody threw Ra's al Ghul in there. But either way, thoughts on his return to the team and the association with the type of start that he's had to the season. Malik, we'll start with you.
It's nothing Victor Wembanyama can't do on the basketball court. He's a maxed out Kevin Durant offensively, and on defense, it's nothing. He's like nothing ever before, and that's just because of the vision you see when he's in front of you, the athleticness from his ankles down to just how he moves around the court. So he's the only person that can use his training style and go to the people that he's going to for what he's just grabbing the best things available and he's putting them together. He's being a sponge like everybody else is, but his sponge is a little different because the type of sponge he is, you can't wake up to get that. You can't train to be that. There's nothing you can do to match that. And he understands that, and he's taking full advantage of his opportunity, being blessed in the way he is. He's killing. I seen in and out crossover behind the back, step back to the 3-point line, 3 and 1. Like it's nothing on the court that he can't do. And when you play basketball, coaches tell you shoot the ball as though your shot's not going to get blocked. There's nobody that can block his shot. There's people jumping on his pump fakes. He's still not even seeing those people. He's doing spin moves, picking up his dribble between the free throw and the 3-point line. It's nothing. He's in his bag. And mentally he's in his bag because he knows there's nobody that can stop him. So now basketball is a team game. He can be one of those guys that he can lead the league in points this year, and they still might not make the playoffs or something like that. That's how crazy the basketball world is. But he's going to lead from the front. He's going to have every vote. As long as he doesn't get hurt and he plays 70% of games for the rest of his career, there's no reason why people aren't putting him in a conversation with LeBron James, with the statistical guys that they say are the greatest. Because if he plays long enough, it's nothing. It's all these stats and all these numbers are going to be his if that's up to him. So, yeah, he's killing it.
Octavia, your start on Wemby's. Your thoughts on Wemby's start to the season, sorry.
It's just ridiculous. That's the only word I can really say. At this point, it's kind of maddening to a certain degree because I'm like, what do you do with him? Like when you play against him, like what do you do? Like at this point, and to add insult to injury, he decided to grow another inch. Like seriously, sir, like for real. So I honestly I don't have words for it. I'm not even gonna go long-winded on it because it's ridiculous. The clips that I've seen of what he's been doing, the Spurs got a nice little unit. They're young. I think that's just going to be the hard thing about it is that they're a young team and they're really going to have to kind of band together. I'm not sure if De'Aaron Fox is injured or not playing. I don't remember. But him throwing a block, like, I don't even know if you need to throw a lob to him. Just throw it up in the air somewhere and he's just going to go find it anyway. Like, it's utterly ridiculous at this point. So I really don't have any words. Like you already said, like there's nothing he can't do. He plays defense. We just talked about people who don't have the will to play defense. Oh, he played defense. He gonna block the ball. And then he gonna bring it down and he gonna score by himself. And it ain't too much you can do with that. You can't teach athleticism. You can't teach drive, heart, like he got it all. So like you guys said, as long as he can stay healthy, he gonna be in the mix for whatever he wants. Whatever he decides he wants to win that year and he put his mind to it, he gonna be in the top 3 with it. So it's just kind of crazy to see like the amount of dominant players that we've seen come through the league in the years and the years and the years. To see this is just I don't even know what to do with it, honestly.
Right.
Yeah, man, I'm loving it through 4 games. You talked about all the people he spent time with over the summer, and I'm seeing it in his game. I'm seeing Crawford, I'm seeing Hakeem, I'm seeing KG defensively, and he's just putting it together beautifully. The one thing I'm liking so far this season is last year he was averaging 9 3-point attempts a game. This year he's only averaging 3. And to that point, last year he was only getting to the line about 4 times a game. So far this year he's getting to the line 10 times a game and averaging 31 points. Like he's making things easier for himself, which I mean, he's already 7'5". Like get as close to the basket as you can. Like, it's not hard. It's good that he has that versatility in his game and those perimeter skills, but 7'5" and shooting 9 threes a game is counterproductive. Yeah, go to the block, go to the mid range, and as you can see, he's getting fouled at a pretty high rate, and he's converting those free throws. So that's only gonna it's only gonna make things easier for him and the people around him. But yeah, man, he's going to work. I love to see progression. Love to see him continue to round out his game. And yeah, if he keeps this up, it's going to be an issue for the rest of the league for sure.
Yeah, I love what you said about you can see each and every person that he spent time with in this game. You see whatever it is that KG brings, you can see that. You can see that he clearly was gifted enough from a footwork standpoint to be able to translate the teachings of Dream when it's not just creating space, he's eating up space. And like you said, Rafe, why go away from the basket and let somebody off the hook? Of all the things I've seen, I still think the most absurd thing thus far to me this season was he picked up his dribble like 19 feet out on the baseline, and his step through took him from 19 feet out to a layup. What are we doing here? He did a post move 2 feet out of the foul line and ended up at the basket, and it was legal. It's absurd, but get shout out to him and the Spurs organization because they got some youngsters all together, and as Octavia mentioned, they still don't have D Fox out there. Young Dylan looks fine. Castle's come, that was back-to-back rookie of the years, Wemby and Castle. So we'll see what it looks like. But when you look like a creative player, that's how you're supposed to act. So I'm happy. That's what you're supposed to do. Go do some alien type stuff. You look like one, you might as well act like one. Be one.
I was
Embrace
just
it.
thinking that he's
all the
like
way.
an alien from Men in Black.
Right. You 7'5" with 8-foot wingspan. You make the basketball court legitimately look small to you and you alone. Why not go out there and act like a grown man on a Fisher Price? Everybody else can't do anything about it. That's their problem. But we appreciate you guys. Don't forget to get over to the FocusTV.com. Wizards Outlook, folks. We'll see you a little bit later. Just a reminder, Roku device folks, also those folks with Amazon Fire TV. Go to the App Store, type in the Focus TV, double tap OK to add the channel. And things like this you can catch live. And also when you miss it, there's separate categories for each and every one of our shows. So don't miss that. And we'll see you guys next week.